Welcome to this week's podcast. I'm your host, Dexter. I'm here with Nicole,
Hello.
Tom,
What up?
Armani.
What's up, guys?
How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Very well.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling too.
I can't complain. We're here to talk about two movies. There will be spoilers today. We back. Today we're going to talk about the HBO Max movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, and Malcolm and Marie. Both movies that are on the streaming networks. We got one on HBO Max, the other one on Netflix. Which one are we talking about first?
So first we're going to start off with Judas and the Black Messiah. We're going to jump into I was going to say jump into the heavy one first, but they're both kind of heavy.
I think way more people watched Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't think many people. I think a lot of people opted out of that. Malcolm.
Oh, okay. Well, Judas and the Black Messiah stars Daniel Kaluuya. It stars Lakeith Stanfield, Jesse Plemons, Dominic Fishbach, who people will recognize from the Jamie Foxx superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Project Power.
Yes,
Project Power.
As well as Martin Sheen's in it and some other familiar faces. It is directed by Regina King and it was produced by Ryan Coogler and Charles King. So the movie is a semi-biographical account of Fred Hampton's assassination and what led up to that moment. Essentially, the FBI planted a person in the Black Panther Party to get close to Fred Hampton, and then J. Edgar Hoover, did what he did and he had him assassinated. I think everyone on this podcast is pretty familiar with the Black Panther Party and things that led up to the fall of the Black Panther Party. Are you all pretty well versed, or at least have some knowledge of things like the COINTELPRO and stuff like that, right, Armani?
For the most part, yeah.
Tom?
Yes.
Dexter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what did you guys think about this movie? Dexter, start with you. What were your thoughts?
It was a well done historical portrayal of what I assume is mostly factual. I know things are loosely based. I thought it was pretty cool. Armani, you fuck with it?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It definitely showed when we start the discussion of range. Lakeith and Daniel need their flowers, most definitely.
Mm-hmm. Tom?
I enjoyed it a lot. There was a lot of the characters, all the characters, whether it was the key to Daniel Kaluuya, especially Jesse Plemons. Well, that guy's come a long way, saying. Y'all realize he was one of the bully kids in Like Mike? You know what I'm saying?
And Like Mike.
He's in Like Mike. He's one of the bully kids at the orphanage, like teasing Bow Wow. You know what I'm saying? To bring the girl, Dominic, too. Because it took me to a minute. I think I texted you guys like, oh, snap, that's the girl from Project Power. Because I'm looking like, she even did a great part. I thought she really did a good job acting.
She did. And I didn't mention that Ashton Sanders is also in the movie from Moonlight.
Yes. RZA.
The movie is freaking phenomenal. So Daniel Kaluuya plays Fred Hampton, and Lakeith Stanfield plays Bill, the person who was sent in to spy on him. Yeah, let's start with Dominic Fishbach's performance. She played Fred Hampton's wife, girlfriend, then later wife. Her performance, every time she was on screen, was super just like, I don't think engaging is the proper word. Like, her performance was just, maybe transformative might be the word. Like, I was really friggin' impressed. Like, anytime she was
immersive.
I was just like riveted. What'd you say?
Immersive.
Yeah, she's fucking phenomenal. She's amazing. Armani, what did you think about her performance?
I agree, it was very immersive. I mean, I feel like she kind of broke out of her, I guess the word would be archetype for roles. Like, she kind of broke out of that little kid role that she usually plays.
Yeah, she definitely looked way more adult, or came across that way in this movie for sure. Dexter, what'd you think?
I think she killed it. I thought that she was in other things, but I realized that she'd only been in a couple of other things. And I think the biggest thing that I saw her in was Project Power, because I don't think I saw the other movie she was in. She did dope. She was good. Everybody in here, the casting was amazing.
Yes, this was a well-casted movie. Lakeith Stanfield, I think... Okay, so before I actually go there, Lakeith Stanfield's performance was absolutely amazing as well. And I seen a report the other day that said that he had to actually go to therapy after this movie because he was so immersed in the character and the story, and you're playing this person who really went in there and led to help bring down the fall of this organization that was legitimately trying to help people. Like, you were part of that. So I can't imagine how the real life person coped with that, and then being an actor having to immerse yourself into that and take that on. I could definitely imagine. I'm glad he got therapy. I'm sure there's a lot of people who get so immersed in characters and don't get therapy afterward. That probably should.
Tupac. Yeah.
We probably name a whole lot of people. Do we think Joaquin Phoenix got help after the Joker?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. You know,
Yeah.
that's probably something that should be on a set that's not. Especially when you do these really heavy films. They probably don't even have therapists on set. But they probably should. Like, that should be a thing. At least a counselor.
No, I agree with you. It should be a thing.
Like, the studio should have someone handy. And it's not, and even if it's not like every movie, but like, let's just say Sony. There should be Sony should probably have like 2 people on staff that I can imagine you probably don't have like a shit ton of movies filming at the same time. But let's say you have 5. If out of those 5, like 3 of them are really heavy content, you can have like one person like visit a set like every so often, like just to be like, hey, to check in and tap in on the mental wellness of these actors who are playing these parts when they're that extreme, especially now that we've seen things like Heath Ledger and, you know, him dying after that. And who else is a method actor besides him?
Shia LaBeouf kind of down spiral.
Shia LaBeouf probably could have benefited.
Mr. Creeper over there.
Oh, we'll get back to him. Daniel Kaluuya's performance. So we went back and looked up one of Fred Hampton's speeches, or a couple of them. And the inflection in his voice in this movie seemed like it was very intentional. Because, you've heard Daniel Kaluuya speak in other things, and he didn't sound like this. And when you go back and watch some of Fred Hampton's speeches, he really captured Fred Hampton really well. What did you guys think of Daniel Kaluuya's performance? Tom?
The voice was crazy. I'm sorry. I can't get off of that. That's what kind of draws you in. Like, check my man with his jive. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he's really, he really out here doing the whole, like when she was, Dominic Fishbach's character telling him, you know, he's a poet, and you listen to him doing like he's just reciting stuff, and he's doing the thing. I'm like, yo, this is crazy as hell. He's killing it. Like, I don't know how much, if there's a language person there. You know, we were talking about, Dex was talking about Snowfall on the other podcast. I remember, what's the guy's name, the main character? I don't know his name, but the guy that plays the main character of Snowfall, and he's British. I remember seeing an interview with him saying he got Dub C from West Side Connection to his just like vocal coach. You know what I'm saying? For him to sound like he's from California. And I'm thinking, like, Daniel Kaluuya, who was you around that taught you to talk like? You know what I mean? What were you watching, or where did you pick that up? I mean, I know you guys watch a lot of American television, but how did you pick that up? That's impressive.
Armani, what did you think?
I mean, I thought it was a great performance overall. The movie overall was great. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I could say about it.
The I'm a Revolutionary speech was amazing. The delivery of that was amazing. Dominic Fishbach's after she was telling him after that speech, when then she was telling him that, you know, you can say all these things, you don't have a body growing in you, and then like that goes into a whole poem. Like, there was just so much poetry in this movie. It almost didn't even seem like it was like a script with dialogue. It was just poetry. The whole thing is how it seemed to me. It's how it carried. Very well done. Oscars. Like, we should be talking about Oscars with these performances. There's no way. You know what? Okay, no, there is a way. And I know the way. The way Daniel Kaluuya may not be nominated for an Oscar or win an Oscar for this performance, and when they submit this, they would be submitting that speech. It would only make sense that that's the part that you submit for Oscar contention. The part that's going to suck is because of the fact that he straight up says, kill cops in that speech. As soon as he said that, I was like,
there will be no Oscar.
That's what's going to stop him from getting an Oscar for this.
I don't even know why we're talking about this. There will be no Oscar. There may not be an Oscar consideration.
That's going to be...
No nomination? We can't get a nod for that?
We can.
I think it's still an honor to be nominated, so...
Yeah, he won't win.
But he just...
I have something. What do you guys think of... What we're talking about performances. A scene in the movie that really was probably, I thought, like, kind of caught me off guard, and I enjoyed a lot, was a scene with Lil Rel Holley. Is that how you say it? His name?
Lil Rel?
Yeah, Lil Rel came in the scene. I thought that was so ill. because I was like, oh shit, it's my man. And then, so how much does an FBI agent? How much does we get paid for working for the FBI? Da, 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 da. I'm like, where is this going? And then that whole scene with yeah, show me your badge, show me your badge, show me your badge, and he pulls out Lakeith's fake badge.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild to me. I'm like, oh snap. He gave him the little whatever that was. Like, yeah, you want your man to go easy on him, go get fucked up, right? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, that was hot. Because because usually you see him in a movie, he's about to be funny. You know what I'm saying? To be kind of the comic relief in the situation. And you realize you wasn't really being funny. You're being, in my mind, you're funny, but just like the scene wasn't funny at all. And it was just that I thought that was really great. It was wherever they thought to put that in there, that was super dope.
Yeah, this is the second time that all three of them have been in a movie together. They were in Get Out together, all three of them.
That is dope.
Because that was his boy. That was his boy. And
that was his boy. Lakeith got snatched up walking down the street by the brother.
Okay, so this movie should qualify because the cutoff dates for submissions or qualifying release dates for Oscars is January 1st, 2020 through February 28th, 2021. So it makes the cutoff. However, from what I am seeing right now of like early predictors of Oscar nominations for Best Actor, he ain't on the list. We got Chadwick for Ma Rainey, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Riz Ahmed for The Sound of Music, Stephen Young,
The Sound of Metal.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, basically he's not. Delroy Lindo for The Five Bloods. Yeah, he's not on the main list, but he's on the secondary, like top tier award contenders.
What was the cutoff date? What was it again?
February 28th.
Really?
It's the end of this month. So yeah, from January of last year till the end of February is the release dates for Oscar contenders, and the nominations are announced March 15th. Will be announced.
Okay.
So I do think that part of that speech is what's going to keep him or keep that possibly out, because that's probably
so authenticity is an issue.
Yes, I think it will be. I do think it will be. To be honest, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, like that, and I mean, let's be real. I mean, if he said that in that speech, but I'm gonna assume that he said it, because I don't think that they would just throw that in there for fucking shock value.
Right.
So he really said that, and it's just like, oh man, I understand like the time period, but still just outwardly saying kill cops.
Well, he has a good shot either way, because he's not the lead actor; he's the supporting actor.
Who's lead actor?
Lakeith.
Lakeith is top bill?
Is he? You think so?
I feel like it's his movie, but it's a movie about Fred Hampton, though. But I feel like the movie is told from is his name Bill O'Neill or whatever, Lakeith's character.
But see, but
that's from his point of view.
That's the thing, though. When you look at movies and you look at how they make any movie, one of the things that I've noticed about all the movies that we're watching and when we watch, they're always telling a story through one character. It doesn't necessarily mean that character is the entire arc of the show, you know what I'm saying, or the movie or whatever. Usually it's one weird person and he's regular and normal. It's even like with who's the main person in Fargo? It wasn't Chris Rock. It's the girl. It's Ethelreda. Everything is taught through this insignificant person, and then they weave everything through those people. You know what I mean? You could say that the show was about the Cannons and the Fadas, but in reality, the show went through her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
she was reading their report at the end. Like, it was all, she was kind of reading off and telling a story.
Yes. This movie also has Dominic Thorne in it, so I just wanted to mention her because she will be playing young Ironheart in the MCU. So
yeah.
It was nice to see her in something else. I was like, okay, girl.
Can we talk about Jesse Plemons? Did y'all like him?
Yes, I did like his acting.
We talking about Jared Leto being a creep. Man, this guy was like the most savage FBI agent ever. Like, yeah, we need you to get like that scene where he's like, what's my old head? Martin Sheen tells him, yeah, we need get your boy to do something else. Get Fred Hampton. He's just how he's kind of like grooming. You know what I'm saying? I love the dynamic every time that we go to meet him at like this restaurant or whatever, the scene, and how fresh Lakeith Stanfield would be at these meetings with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you see him when he's with Fred Hampton. It's like just got this army jacket on in the like the beret or whatever. It's like It's just that was just wild. Like I said, I think Jesse Plemons has come a long ass way, and I enjoyed his portrayal of this FBI agent. I shout out to him being like the one white guy in this.
Yeah.
Can I interject real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever seen Crown Heights, which is a Lakeith Stanfield movie?
Mm-mm.
No, I haven't.
No.
It's based off of This American Life podcast.
Oh, it's one of my joints.
Yeah, Crown Heights. It's about Colin Warner, a man wrongfully convicted of murder. I'm going to check it out or whatever. I'll let y'all know. But I was just wondering if y'all had seen it because I was going to speak on how Lakeith has a pretty... his filmography is pretty awesome. He has about 10 movies that are significantly impactful. You know, and even like with his shows, like from Atlanta to Get Out to Sorry to Bother You to Selma. He was in Dope back in the day. Straight Outta Compton. He played Snoop. He's done a lot of. He was in Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like he was in Uncut Gems. These are all movies that I recommend that you watch. You know what I mean? Lakeith is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Everything that he's in seems to be pretty impactful.
So I wanted to touch on that because I feel like we are in an era of Black excellence on screen when it comes to the crop of actors that we have right now. And I don't know if we've seen this many at one time because I feel like we have Lakeith, we have Daniel, we have what's his name,
Yahya Mateen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got him. We got the dude who played Atticus. Like,
We got Lupita.
Huh?
I said we got Lupita.
Lupita. I mean, I was talking about men. I was naming men, but now let's go on to females. We've got Lupita. You've got Regina King. Even though she's been acting forever, like it's like she's really like just taking on this. Like her career just has a second chapter to it almost. Like it's a whole different actor that we see at this point. Like the growth. But yeah, like we've got a lot of great Black actors doing great things right now. I feel like on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Putting up big performances and things. And even some lesser known people, like in 7 Seconds, the young lady who played the lawyer, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but her performance in that, amazing. And we were briefly brought up the fact that these British actors, because of course it's, comes up in the news again, British actors coming over and getting these jobs, and they're playing African Americans in the diaspora, and people are mad about it. But it's fucking quality acting. It's like, who else could you stick in these roles? Like, we're not putting... Give me somebody. It's a Black American actor.
D. Ray.
D. Ray's not playing Lakeith's part in this movie. He might be able... he might be able to pull that off, but, you're not...
It's not a knock on D. Ray.
Yeah.
It's just more or less, you don't see the ranking.
It's like we got Chadwick Boseman to play a character from Africa, and he's not African. Well, he's American.
Mm-hmm. Chadwick was another one who, was definitely on that list.
What's my man? What's Ghost Dog's name? Forrest Whitaker. He played Idi Amin, Last King of Scotland. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we've got a couple. You know what I'm saying? Playing the characters. There's some flip to it.
Mm-hmm. But you're not going to put Morris Chestnut was not playing Fred Hampton in this movie.
Right.
Oh, you're right.
Huh?
No, I said you're right.
So it's, Jamie Foxx pulls off, these roles. Will Smith pulls off these roles. I'm trying to think of other, Americans that do this as well. But either way.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Americans that do, characters that aren't American.
No disrespect.
That's kind of hard.
Will Smith don't pull out those.
7 pounds?
He's pulling off these roles.
He got nominated for Ali.
Ali in 7 pounds.
His performance in 7 pounds was pretty deep. That shit was sad.
He wasn't doing nothing outside of his wheelhouse like Ali. He didn't do good at Concussion.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? There's a perfect example. Thanks, Dex. That's a good example because you look at that, tell the truth. Like I just quote that just because.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. It sounded bad. It made me not want to watch it. Like, stop, man. The accent don't sound cool, bro.
Okay, not everyone's filmography is perfect, but
right.
What I'm saying
I just watched Wesley Snipes in Cutthroat City. He didn't play man very well either.
No.
Okay,
how about Denzel and the Mighty?
It was a long time ago, but
it's a deep cut, right? You like that one. He had an accent through the whole movie.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that shape shifting is not something we do best. I think it has something to do with the fact, and I'm not saying that we don't shapeshift. There's plenty of actors that shapeshift. There's plenty of actors that are black that do this. I just don't know how popular they are all the time. I think that it's one of those things where when you grow up outside of here, you aspire. Think about it, right? When we aspire to talk like them, we have our own mindset of what a British accent is. It could be a Wales accent. It could be an accent from
I think we do the Cockney.
and then it could sound like Australian. But we don't care because at the end of the day, that part is not the most important part. Now, think about it from the other way around. If you're from England, you have Southern accent, you have a Boston accent, you have a New Orleans accent, you have a Florida accent, you have California vernacular, you have, you know what I'm saying? You have people that talk from Kansas City, you have Midwest, you know what I'm saying? You have all of these different places. You have people from New York, you have people from New Jersey, you have people from Philadelphia. All of these people have different ways of speaking the same language. So when they look at us and they look at mimicking things that we do, they have probably been mimicking our Southern accents. You know what I'm saying? If you look at something like Daniel Craig in...
No, they came up watching our television. You know what I'm saying? So
look at Daniel Craig in Knives Out playing a Southern man. You know what I'm saying? It just... I think that it's more in their wheelhouse to come where we're at than we are to come where they're at. I mean, the simple fact is they're more cultured than us. You know, I mean,
Robert Downey Jr. doing Sherlock.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Dr. Doolittle or whatever. I don't know.
He's next to Jude Law, so who is a legitimate.
You know, yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I just think that they, you know, they watch more of our stuff. You know, we don't watch a lot of British television. Like we do, but you know, we don't. Their ambition is to get to Hollywood, and they're watching American movies,
exactly,
and TV and cinema.
We really don't, Tom. It's niche out here. The average person don't know who Doctor Who is, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
And you would think that as big as it is, and how long it's been going, it has to have fans. But it's like, it's such a niche thing. I can understand why people don't watch English things. They will legitimately take an English hit and then remake it
within a couple years.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the Office. There you go.
If you think about Animal Kingdom, if you think about Shameless, if you think about Utopia, you know what I'm saying?
The Office is like, that's funny. There's like an Australian Office. There's like a Korean Office.
Exactly. You know like Office, like all of our big, you know, some of our biggest things are spinoffs of their stuff and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, you know, no idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's not what you do, but how it's done. Shout out to Nasir.
Yeah, I think we're in a good time for movies. I'm definitely excited to see what comes next from literally everybody in this movie. This is a special fucking movie. Like, this movie will go down as one of, like, those top films. Like, this needs to be on AFI's list of top 100. Something's getting knocked the fuck off, for sure. This definitely belongs there. Maybe one podcast we need to actually go down that AFI list and talk about it.
Why is this movie that good for you to say that?
There was not wasted space. I didn't feel like there was very much of any wasted space. I feel like everyone's moments when they were on screen, they were doing something. It was like, there was no wasted dialogue. There was no wasted, like, in that scene where we talk about that speech when I made the comment when we were watching it back. When he was making that speech, you have truthfully 4 different characters in that room simultaneously going through 4 different things. We got 4 different fucking, like, actions. Like, there was 4 different, like, it was just 4 different dynamics going on at one.
No, that's great insight, Nicole, because I agree with you on that.
Like, that was a masterclass in just fucking direction, and that was, I don't know if there's too many perfect scenes in movies, but I feel like that was a perfect fucking scene. Like, that's
I agree with you. That's great insight. That's just look at it like that. There's not a wasted scene in the movie.
Okay, Tom, what do you rate it?
What's my high?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
IMDb gives us 10 stars, right?
Hold on. Run this back. Run it back.
I knew what you meant.
What's your high? What if we said
what's the highest? Because we could have been 5 out of 1 out of 5 being the highest, 10 out of I don't know where we're going here.
in 5 and 10? Got it.
I'll say I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10, man. It was hard. I like this shit a lot. I will watch it.
Nick?
I'm giving it a 10.
Armani?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
What do you give it? What you giving it, Dexter?
It's like an 8.
I mean, eight's not bad. Like, one day maybe we'll have to sit down and we'll have to do like, these are our 10s and these are our like 9s and these are 8. But I mean, I think 8's probably fair. What?
I mean, I think that I'm the type of person that when I rate things, I think that I always leave room for, I guess, improvement or whatever. I always leave some sort of cushion. So I don't know what the hell would be a 10. You know what I'm saying? But I damn sure, it would have to be something a little bit more to me for it to be a 9 or a 10. However, if we're talking about performances, if we're talking about execution, this movie is definitely a 10. However, when we're talking about cumulatively a movie, and if it's 10 out of 10, it's still an 8. But I really enjoyed it, and I see why y'all enjoyed it. It was a well done movie, and you said this is his first movie?
Whose first movie?
The director, yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, I believe when we had looked up that information last time that we realized that this was his first movie. I think he's did some work somewhere else.
Yeah, it's all like short films. Yeah, it's only been short films. This is his first feature-length director job, yeah.
Yeah, so this is his first feature-length movie. So that's amazing. Have Ryan Coogler there producing with you. So I don't know. I think when you touch things like this, it has to be done right anyway. I actually watched Panther just recently, so it was interesting to watch Bobby Seale, who was played by Courtney B. Vance in Panther, actually was the gentleman, because they kind of downplayed Bobby in this movie. Bobby was in the movie. I don't know if you remember the scene where he came and he was kind of like downplaying Fred, and he was like, this is the speaker, this is what everybody's talking about. I didn't really know who Bobby Seale was as much before that. Like, I know the names, I don't know the story as much. I was young when Panther came out, and I'm not as I
grew up in a very militant household, so
you've known all about.
Yes.
Got you. But Bobby, they kind of downplayed it and made it seem like Bobby was just somebody from another chapter. Yeah, he was the head of the national organization, whereas Fred Hampton actually was the leader for Illinois. It was interesting to watch Panther and see how that happened, because they don't really go into Huey. They talk about Huey, but you could tell that they decided to come into this and show you the timeline after Huey passed.
Yeah, and I think it's good that they focused solely on Fred Hampton as opposed to like Panther focused on a few of the founding members.
Right.
This focused, and that's another testament to why this was, to me, such a well done movie, because some movies they focus on too much. This kept it essentially focused on this one person, and that was it. Like, we don't dive into a whole bunch of what the Panthers were doing other places necessarily. It is concise.
I got 2 more things to say.
Go ahead.
The soundtrack is pretty dope. We got some new Jay-Z music featuring, actually it's Nipsey featuring Jay-Z. When I first heard about this, it always brings me to Jay-Z saying that he died. No, he was born the day Fred Hampton died. He said something about that in, the song or whatever. The second thing I wanted to say was, and I guess the final thing that I'll say about this movie was, the name, the title of the movie is fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fire. Like, for you, it could have just been the Fred Hampton story. Or it could have been, they made sure to let you know that we had Judas and Black Fire. You can't tell one story without telling the other.
The end credits, the movie comes to an end, and you have like almost an epilogue. The words, dialogue being put on the screen, and then you're seeing like the interview with the actual guy that Lakeith Stanfield plays. I thought that was really like like really good. You don't usually get that in film. It's never a situation where I see the end of a movie and be like, sheesh. Well, you just topped that off, didn't you? You just made it so now it made you completed the story for me. Thank you. I enjoyed that. Shout out to them for that because that was really good as far as as the filmmaking was concerned.
For sure.
That's it.
So the next movie that we're going to discuss, Malcolm and Marie, stars Zendaya, John David Washington, and that's it. 2 people. This movie is directed by Sam Levinson. It is produced by Zendaya, John David Washington, Sam Levinson, and a few other people. It is written by Sam Levinson. Music by Labyrinth. I just want to throw that out there. So if you're familiar with Euphoria, Sam Levinson also directs Euphoria as well. This is a cast of people or a writing crew of people, creative crew that has worked together before. When you've got people who are already familiar with each other, I feel like that lends well to doing other projects. This movie is actually the first Hollywood feature film that was written, shot, produced completely during COVID-19. The production team of 22 people created this movie, shot it, did all the good stuff, edited, all that.
In secret.
Yes.
Last summer.
This movie literally follows in real time an argument between a couple after Malcolm gets an award for something. I don't even know what he got an award for.
I don't think it's an award. I think the movie premiered.
Oh, okay, premiered. Okay.
No, he got an award for it. That was
Did he get an award? I thought it was just a
He got an
premiere,
award.
Like they just left the premiere.
No, he got an award and he didn't thank her during his speech.
Oh yeah, he didn't thank her.
It's that okay? So he returns home from his film premiere with his girlfriend. So he probably made a speech at the film premiere and he did not thank her. This again follows in real time a discussion between this couple, and boy does it get fucking dark at times. Dexter, what did you think about this movie?
I thought it was real. Thought it was very reality based. I always respect when content has a level of detail that is so personalized that you go, damn, I didn't think of that, or damn, that's definitely something that should have been in here that I wouldn't have thought of. There's so many nuances of that in this movie that I thought it was pretty genius. However, I think that the overall consensus of this movie is that these motherfuckers are toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And that they're in a toxic relationship. I realized that I was the only one that thought that this was such a genius take on a conversation about all the nuances that can happen during a conversation in a relationship. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it was a lot of shit going on and a lot of takes and a lot of dynamics that were caught in this particular movie that I don't believe have been caught in anything before it.
Now, I didn't watch that divorce movie. Armani, didn't you watch that, the one with Adam Driver?
I didn't watch it, but I know the premise of it for the most part.
All right, then we won't
Marriage
talk.
Story?
Yeah, that one.
I heard that was good. I'm going to watch that.
Tom, did you watch Marriage Story?
No, something like it was one of those movies like I always wanted to watch because people when stuff gets nominated, I always try to check it out, and it was on the list and I never got to watch it.
Okay.
Well, let's watch it. We don't have to deep dive on it, but let's just watch it and talk about it.
All right.
So Marie's beef at the beginning is the fact that she was not thanked in the speech because she feels that this movie essentially is based on her struggles when she was dealing with her drug use and her recovery. There were so many moments in this movie where she was expressing her feelings of why she was upset. Like, he asked her, what the fuck you mad about? What you mad about? Like, what's your problem? What's your beef? She tells him, and then he tells her she's stupid for feeling that way, basically. And that is literally the fucking argument. She tells him, he tells her she's stupid, and then he tells her all the reasons why he thinks her feelings are irrelevant and stupid. And it's just like, yo, if she don't punch him in the face at some point.
I really thought this was going to become a horror movie at a point.
The bathtub scene.
After the bathtub scene, I was like, oh, she going to kill him. I see.
He could have died. Like, at that moment, it's like, oh, this nigga got to die.
No, that's the best scene in the movie, I think, for me. The bathtub scene. Just her just Zendaya, the emotion she's showing on her face with no dialogue.
Ugh.
Like, you feel that shit. You feel that shit, and it's like this nigga gonna die. She's gonna cut this nigga in his sleep or something. Like I don't know what the fuck happened to him. Like something gonna happen to this boy. But when I'm watching the scene, like, ooh, I wouldn't have said that one.
Like
you should kept that to yourself, bro.
It's like to verbally eviscerate someone and then 2 minutes later, I love you. Nah, bitch, you keep that same energy you had in that bathroom. Nah, don't you dare ever part your lips. You don't. Okay.
You know she crazy too, right? You know she's toxic too, right? Because it sounds like y'all making it seem like David Washington is the only person
that was toxic.
That was toxic.
No, she should have dropped it.
In that
I feel
moment,
like she should have
he
dropped it.
was.
He was trying to piece it up though. And
No.
she should have dropped it. You know, I understand.
She didn't drop. She dropped a lot of fucking insults too. Like I don't.
She called that nigga mediocre, man. Come on.
She didn't want to have a conversation in the first place, though.
But
When
what
he
you
walked
mean she
outside
didn't want
around
to have
the
a
house and
conversation?
came back,
When they walked in that house, she said, "You drunk? I'm gonna make you some food. Go to sleep. That's it." Could have been just that.
But that's the thing. People want you to be okay with your passiveness. What it comes down to is you can't expect somebody to be okay with you walking around with an attitude and not speaking on it, right? But people should be able to have the license to walk around and, people should be able to have the license to just be able to deal with whatever they're dealing with and say, hey, give me a moment. Because I do believe she asked for a moment, or I do believe she tried to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? And said, but I'll make you this bullshit. But she wanted points for making the bullshit. But I get it. I understand. Like, I think the reason why the movie was done so well is because I understand both parts. I'm really good at seeing both point of views. So at the end of the day, she's looking at it like, I'm not trying to say nothing. I want to, just make you this food and keep it moving because I'm not trying to ruin your night. But in his defense, he's looking like,
oh, my night's already ruined.
My night's already messed up, so I don't understand. And your night is obviously messed up too. So why don't we just have a conversation about it? At the end of the day, you're gonna walk around with that energy anyway. So what's the point of us acting like things are okay? You know what I mean? I don't know if girls know, but like a guy, when we do anything and we're out and we achieve something and we're all out and dressed, like we want to have sex when we come back home. She basically let him know right off rip he wasn't getting no sex. So now that I'm not getting no sex, we can have any conversation because that shit's already off the table. You know what I mean? But I understood, her side and I understood his side. I thought that's why it was so good. However, I ain't hear a lot of caping for him. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to jump in and cape for John David, young Denzel. Yeah, he was toxic, but he was dealing with somebody who
was what?
She was a trip.
She was unstable. He could have walked away.
She was unstable.
My man walked outside, walked around the house, came back, looked through the bathroom window like, yo, I'm mediocre. I said, oh, shit.
She knew the words to trigger.
Yeah, she was pressing his buttons, and that's my issue. That's where I had to side with Dex. She knew what to say to press his buttons, and she went for it. And that she should have left it alone.
That's the dynamic of relationship, period. Like, you can either choose to fight with fire or you can choose to withdraw from the fight. It's only two things that you can do. And every time you choose to take a shot, you can't act like you're holier than thou.
Right, she said talking about I fucked your friends and shit like that. Like, yo, come on now. That's something else.
Don't get twisted.
Lines were crossed.
He was a wild boy. And a lot of things that he said, like, I think the biggest thing with them is it always sucks when it seems like one person is smarter than the other person or more intelligent in how they speak.
That for sure was another thing. It was quite clear that he was the more articulate one, and he knew that, so he talked at her like that.
Yeah, he did.
She said it. She's like, you went to college. You went you're educated. Hold on, another thing. Let me ask you, what y'all think about the rant, the film rant when he just started coming at that? Do you think that was forced, like by the director by Sam? Was it Levinson?
What you mean forced?
He went on this whole thing when they were reviewing the movie, and he started talking. I watched this movie, and I seen this film. The director was trying to. Do you think that was just some film school shit?
Yes, it was. I felt like that watching it. I was like, this is something that at that moment I didn't know like who actually wrote it. I didn't have the writer's name in my mind. I was like, but this
feel like something that was
he wanted to say.
congruent with the argument.
Yeah, I was like, this is interestingly placed, but it's definitely a film person. Yeah.
I thought that's actually that's where he lost me. I guess he had lost me before that at certain times, but that's when he inherently had lost me completely. When he started bitching about that, I was like, oh, so you just don't know how to
take anything.
Yeah, like the way that you receive things is just warped, period. You're very self-indulged.
So that's what made you think this man was crazy?
That was that's when I completely wrote him. No, that's when I completely wrote him off. That's when I said, okay, because at the end of the day, everything is coming from a reaction point of view. I mean, everything is coming from a reaction mind state. You know what I mean? So everybody's, just it's rapid fire coming back and forth. You know what I mean? Rapid fire. So it's not, you can't really be knocked for your reaction immediately. However, when we start to accumulate your reactions of how you are throughout the entire time, and then when you take away, I think when you're in a relationship, that relationship stuff, it weighs on you however relationship stuff weighs on you. Meaning, like, if you guys already have problems, then your conversation is going to have those problems in the conversation. The tone may be based off of those problems that you have in a relationship. All of those little degrees of your relationship come up in your conversation. I think that when you're talking about your film, and somebody says something about it, like we were talking about in last podcast, there's different degrees of everything. So it's like, first of all, when you read it, why are you reading it like that? Okay. Second of all, when you read it, why do you care that much? Third of all, when you read it, why does it invoke that type of emotion in you? Why do you let something?
Yeah, he had a whole moment, dog. He spazzed.
You know what I'm saying? He spazzed, and he's in the room by himself. You know what I'm saying? He's in the room.
She said that like you just had a whole argument with yourself about this.
Like, so that's what made me go, oh shit, you're articulate and crazy.
All right.
I get you, Armani. He was tripping from the very beginning. However, you don't know whose side to jump on until, I think everybody jumps on the side of who they're going to root for. Or maybe you don't jump on the side or whatever. Maybe you don't care. But everybody
he was crazy. He was crazy when he ate that macaroni and cheese like that. Yo, he fucked that shit up. He was eating that shit angry as fuck. I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life.
And mind you, it was like 2:00 in the morning.
He was fucking that macaroni and cheese up. Like you could hear that shit. He was
that type of macaroni and cheese shouldn't even been in that house. It's a nice ass house. You shouldn't even be buying back no more.
It was a rental.
It was a rental?
Yeah, they mentioned that the studio.
She was like, you went back for seconds. I heard that shit. He was eating that shit loud as hell.
And you know what? That's another thing. Like, when you arguing with somebody and they doing bullshit like that, like taking their time fucking eating, and then going back and you getting more, like, oh my God. What? So you're just going to sit here and you're going to eat. You're going to have a whole fucking meal, and like you're gonna do all that in the middle of this conversation.
You got damn right. I'm up.
He was getting body. I felt like he was getting body through the movie too, man. He was getting a little, and it was getting worse.
I was
kept pouring himself a drink.
I was supposed to get some celebratory loving and go to sleep, but since I'm up, I'm hungry. It's just like when your kid is up at 12:00 at night talking about they want something to drink. It's like, nigga, if you don't go to sleep, you would sleep, you wouldn't be thirsty.
Sleep, you wouldn't be thirsty. So the movie ends with the two of them going to bed without saying anything to each other, and then they wake up. Malcolm wakes up and he's alone, and then he gets up, looks out the window, and Marie's standing outside, and he goes out there and he stands next to her, and then that's how the movie ends. So we don't know what the actual outcome of this was. It just ends. How do we feel about it just ending like that? Armani, how did you feel about the ending?
Well, I don't feel like it just ended like that.
You did that.
I feel like that last little segment that Zendaya said about why she was so upset about him not saying thank you, I feel like it was kind of like, she was kind of right. This could have just been that. Could have just said sorry.
Yeah, there was just so many was like, nigga, just say sorry. Just
Like,
fucking
really,
say
it really just came
sorry.
to a you could have just said sorry. Because it got so bad that it was...
Yeah. Did he ever say sorry?
Nope. He
I
just said,
think
I
I
love
feel like
you.
he did, but it was like it felt like he was trying to be sincere, but it came off kind of condescending. Like, okay, yo, all right, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have an argument, you just want the person to shut up. And you're just like, all right, you just saying it. I felt like he said it like that, but I like the fact that he took it like, you're not really sorry, dog. You just saying it to shut me the fuck up. You just want me to shut up. You just saying sorry. That's how I took it.
That scene where she came in there with the knife and
Ew.
she was that
Ew.
crazy, and then she was like, "That's acting."
Ew.
Yeah, that's when I was like,
Scene.
"It's crazy too. She crazy."
Like
right?
I sat up like, whoa, she about mental health alert. Like, hold on. I'm like, oh, she was acting. I was like, yo, shout out to her for acting, because I only looked at Zendaya as like this little Disney kid, and she was acting super grown in this movie. I'm gonna have to watch Euphoria as soon as I finish watching some other shows that I'm watching. I'm going straight for Euphoria just to see more of this. I'm impressed.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
and I'm impressed with her.
It's not hard to watch after maybe like the first episode.
Just as a parent, you should watch
How
Euphoria.
about can she get nominated for this?
I feel like she did.
I feel like she needs to.
I feel like she won.
She won? Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
Yes, you need to watch Euphoria. Euphoria is definitely one of those shows that all parents should watch. Yeah, Zendaya is absolutely amazing in this.
Oh man, talk about that. They both killed it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
They both bodied it.
John David Washington, again, another amazing, phenomenal. I mean, he's great in Ballers.
His best performance? I heard someone say that. Between Ballers, Tenet, what's the movie where he's the cop? I haven't seen, but I know he's a cop in the movie.
Anthony Ramos?
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie. It's called Monsters and
Men. Where he doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm looking at his movies that I've seen. I don't know if that's fair, because this is just such a monologue-heavy movie. So can we really compare it to Monsters and Men and Black Klansman? I mean, maybe Black Klansman.
Well, it's 2 hours, almost an hour and a half.
Him yelling.
I mean, doing what they do.
But again, okay, so yes. So that is why I put him on that list of great blackness that we got on screen right now. Like I think he will eclipse his father.
Oh, you think so?
You tripping.
I think so. I think he will.
I don't think he has the charisma of Denzel, to be honest.
Hold on. Okay, wait. Armani, what'd you say?
I don't think he has the same charisma as Denzel, to be honest.
Tom, what'd you say?
I can see this being the separation, but he has too many of his dad's mannerisms. The cadence of their speech is so similar, almost. You can catch it as you're listening, like, wow, you close your eyes, like, boy, yeah, you're Denzel's son. I can hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's, though.
It's going to take me a really, really good performance for me to say, you're your own guy. Tenet wasn't it, okay? Even though you were the literal protagonist, but Tenet isn't it.
I don't think we've gotten that movie yet, but I think we will get it from him.
I see this is the beginning of the separation from him being Denzel's son. Like, you have an acting ability. You just need more experience, maybe.
I looked at Denzel's catalog the other day. There will be no one that will ever do what he...
The Mighty Quinn?
No, stop. Yo, after maybe 3... I think he's had like 4 films where he was a supporting actor. And then I think he has had maybe like 3 or 4 films after that where he was like on billing, but he was like second, like in Philadelphia. I know in Pelican Brief, he was second to Julia Roberts. However, I think shortly after that, maybe it was like his 8th or 9th movie, he's literally been the lead for every single movie he's ever been in. And it's been at least like 20 movies. And they're like 20 good movies. The worst movie he's ever done with his lead name on it was like Virtuosity. He has had an impeccable career. I don't think it's possible for anyone that is starting now to have that type of career.
Wait, you said you don't think it's possible?
No, not if you're starting now. Because especially now, especially when you're talking about, this is like the strike in the NBA or like the weird season that had COVID for the NBA. Like, this is how do you have an impeccable career like Denzel when ain't no Hollywood?
But I mean, we just got Judas and the Black Messiah. We just got that performance from Daniel Kaluuya, so...
That wasn't made. That was made for the movies.
Yeah, that was a studio film that just got. It's one of Warner Brothers studio films that just got released.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, okay,
like,
so then, and if he's able to pull this off on a movie that was filmed in one space,
but this is artsy though. This is artsy.
Yeah,
this ain't. I'm not walking out of the movie theater as happy as I am watching it on Netflix.
I get it.
yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to see this in the movie theater. That's number one. That's just right off rip. I'm not going to see this in the movie theater.
Yeah, when is this dropping? Is
Nope.
this dropping right before Valentine's Day? Nobody's going to see this.
Nah,
Oh,
that's
a movie.
Oh my God! Don't go to see this for Valentine's Day. Ruin
Yeah,
it.
right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be beefing all night.
Yeah,
You want to poke holes in your relationship? Watch this.
Right.
Nah, I'm just saying that there is no, it's just like Leonardo. It's not just Denzel. Like blockbusters, the closest person to those guys these days are like Kevin Hart, The Rock. You know what I mean? There is no box office draw like that anymore.
You know what? I just had a thought, and I really hate that I had this thought. But I feel like John David Washington is probably going to get the career that Chadwick would have had.
Those roles?
Who's to say what Chadwick would have had?
I mean, you
What
can't.
he started doing.
I agree with you, Nicole, because I've had this conversation with Dex before about Leo and River Phoenix.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
Leo
great.
got those roles
Yep.
that River Phoenix would have got.
Yeah.
River
he would have
Phoenix
got
is not as good as Leonardo DiCaprio. Cut it
He
out.
would have been, though. That's the
he
point.
wouldn't
He
have.
would have been.
Have you ever seen Wild Hearts?
Yo, don't you talk about shapeshifter Leo. All right. You know what I'm saying? He is a national treasure. Armani, you don't like him, right?
Who? Yeah, nah, I'm not messing with Leo like that.
Why? What's your beef with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I mean, I don't have a beef. I just don't care for him necessarily.
I'm about to watch The Great Gatsby tonight.
She hasn't seen a lot of good movies.
So I just found a movie called The Old Man and the Gun. Came out in 2018. It stars Robert Redford. Yes, Casey Affleck, Danny Glover, Tika Sumpter, Tom Watts, Sissy Spacek, John David Washington, and Keith Carradine.
God damn. One thing about that movie that I've seen with the trailers, the cinematography looks crazy. They make it, I don't know, weather the film to make it look older. And I was going to ask you guys, what did you think about the cinematography in Malcolm and Marie?
Okay.
Oh, it was great. I think the fact that it was done in black and white made it better.
Super artsy. I love it. I love filmmaking, and that's the type of filmmaking I love. That house was built for
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That set was extremely perfect for the black and white.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that movie would have landed as well had it been in color. Because I think that having it in black and white keeps your attention solely on the dialogue.
Yep.
You're not looking at any colors, anything bright. Like, it just keeps you right there. So
I agree.
Very well done. Malcolm and Marie, out of 10 stars. What are you giving it, Armani?
I give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Tom, what are you giving it?
Giving it an 8.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 stars. Nah, take it back. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
No.
I'm giving this one an 8 too.
Okay. All right. Those are all very fair scores, I think. Do we...
Why 6? Why 6? If everyone's 8 and above, why the 6?
Why the 6?
Yeah.
No, I just don't see the replay value. Like, I don't foresee me watching this again. I only watched it the amount of times I watched it because we had to discuss it for this podcast. I don't think I will probably ever watch that again.
I recommended the movie a lot, so I feel like the fact that it made me recommend it to, like, people always come to tell me, you watch this, I watch this. I said, I just watched Malcolm and Marie. Yo, check that shit out. It's dope. You know what I mean? Really good. This is a really good film. The dialogue's a real character piece. That's how I described it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour and a half of people arguing. But it keeps your attention. You know what I mean? Through the whole time.
Yeah, it has no replay value for me. That's just the only. That's literally the sole purpose for the score. It was great visually. The acting's great. Everything is great. The idea, the premise. I love. I like plays, so I'm okay with movies that are shot like a play in one scene and things like that. But I mean, I
like that. Yeah, it really was like a play, shot like a play. Here, I agree with you.
I actually have an opposite view. The reason why I gave it an 8 is because I feel like everything they set out to do, they perfected it. I don't think that there was anything else that they could have done to make this movie any more than what it was. Anything else that they would have done to it would have possibly made it stupid. I think that they stayed very much within the lines of what they were trying to do. And I think that they both had really captivating performances. I think it was shot well. It was engaging the whole time. And I would watch it again. I'm going to watch it again. I've only watched it once. So I'm going to watch it again just to kind of, get something out of it. But I can understand why you wouldn't want to watch it again. However, though, I get that. But I liked it. I really thought it was a good movie. And I recommend it to anyone that is not in a struggling relationship. Don't watch that shit if shit's real. If shit's already.
Yeah, don't watch it with your girl. Don't watch it with your girl or your girl, whatever.
Yo, and if you got a girl and y'all are already in a toxic place, like, just don't even try to get her not to watch it at all.
I don't know. Like, I almost feel like you should probably watch it because you'd be like, yo, we don't sound like this, dude. Like, let's try not to. Like, this
I
is
want to take it that way. As soon as you don't agree, as soon as you don't take Marie's side in the argument, it's a problem. He should have thanked her. He should have thanked her.
Yup.
That's all it's gonna be. If you're a guy, you went on Marie's side and you wouldn't have thanked your girl. Nah, it's over.
It's not even because I can understand how you could forget to thank somebody in the heat of the moment like that. So I get that part. The problem was the nigga didn't just apologize. Like, you never said I'm sorry, and you just kept discounting her feelings. Like, don't ask how you feel.
Yeah, but you got everything else. You got the guy. You did everything else. You are the person. You're everything else. You just wanted the acknowledgement, and you're gonna have this big argument over the acknowledgement.
It came from a very.
Yeah, she wasn't trying to have an argument. She was just telling him. She just answered his question. Why are you mad? Here's why I'm mad.
But she wasn't even mad. She let everybody else gas her to be mad.
All right. I forget the name of the actress that they said was playing her in the movie, and I guess they didn't get along either. Like, she had beef with the girl that was playing the part that was supposed to be her.
Yeah, I guess she kind of had some.
Well, no, she was an aspiring actor herself, and then they picked this girl who was like the it girl, and I guess she just had a problem with it because it was like, you're playing my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have did better at playing my life than you could do at playing my life.
This was the one place I agreed with him in this whole fucking movie. Was when this when this came up, when this conversation came up, she was like, why didn't you cast me? And he was like, because you didn't fucking want it that bad. Like, you didn't want it bad enough. That's why I didn't cast you. That's the only time I was like, he's got a point. I could see that. I'm not gonna I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this thing. I offer it to you. We talk about it. But if you don't execute on that, I'm not going to make you want something. I can't want it more than you. I can't want it for you more than you want it type shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the moment I was like, all right, he's kind of got a point there. He's still an asshole, but he got a point.
That shit came from the type of place, though. The whole, you should have. Everybody wants to tell you what you're supposed to have done in hindsight. And it's like, you sat there and you watched me cast that girl.
Right, Dex. Preach, brother.
You ain't say nothing to me that whole time. You ain't said nothing to me until now.
And
you didn't even feel no type
the whole
of way
argument of the movie. That was her beef. You casted somebody else to play me, and you could have cast me. And that was the whole issue. Fuck the acknowledgement. She didn't care about the acknowledgement. She wanted the part. That's where I'm standing.
No, that's real though. That's the realest shit. But I think that's the concept, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this whole dynamic. But I think that's the concept of relationships. Period. You have people feeling a type of way, and they won't say how they feel, but they act how they feel, and that's what I mean. Like with her, she had a feeling when she came home, and she was acting like she had that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But she didn't want to say, and then she want to make it seem like everything was that she should be respected because she's like, I just came home and I wasn't gonna say nothing about it, and I made you some macaroni and cheese. I wish your ass would have just went in the house and went to sleep. That's what she did. Should have just went in the house and went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And stop walking around here making it seem like because you made me some janky ass mac and cheese with your badass attitude that everything was supposed to be okay. Sorry.
That mac and cheese was made out of spite. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
There was no that shit was disgusting.
There's no love in that whatsoever.
Oh man. That's the name of his podcast. Ain't no love in that mac and cheese.
There will be. There's ain't no love in that macaroni and cheese.
There was no love, man. You tell me how he ate that shit, man. There was no love at all in that shit.
That's a fact, Thomas. That's a fact.
All right. Well,
Discovery.
that concludes this episode of the podcast. Two good movies. If you have not seen them, definitely check out Judas and the Black Messiah and Malcolm and Marie. Feel free to let us know what you think about the movies in the comment section on this here podcast on YouTube or on Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook, wherever. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe. Until next time, wash your hands and social distance.